Alright, let's do this one last time. My name is Drew Dodger, and for the last couple months, I've been doing a podcast with my good buddy, Jacob Herron. While we love film in general, with us being artists and all, we have a fascination with animation, and we decided to start an audio podcast after we both geeked out over the animated Transformers movie. We're not perfect, we've gotten names wrong, and we don't always agree on movies. But at the end of the day, we try to bring an informative and entertaining show to you all, and we'd like to welcome you to The Cellcast. Hello and welcome to our 1-year anniversary episode of The Cellcast. Joining me this evening, afternoon, day, whatever time of day you listen to us, is my good buddy, a man who was just feeling a little loony, Jacob.
Why, thank you, and introduce our co-host, a man just like Detective Eddie Valent, trying to get down to the bottom of it. Welcome, Drew.
How are you doing this week, Jacob?
Man, it's been a very interesting few days, actually. Just the have you ever? We all goof up, right? We all make mistakes, and
that's part of being human,
right? Exactly. So, I text somebody about a upcoming party, and ask me, okay, where's this party gonna be at? And he gives the locations. Okay, so I know this party's gonna be here, but why is their party here? So okay, and it's like, oh, okay, and so I got the impression that I was not invited to this party. Yeah, sad, right? And so I spent the next hour and a half cleaning and being depressed and just feeling just all kinds of just bummed out about things, right? Mm-hmm. So I finally get up the call because it's a Christian thing to do, is call them and ask for forgiveness because you got angry with them at yourself. Right. And so I give him a call. So I called him and explained it, and he's all confused. It's like, what are you talking about? And so it takes another few minutes. I'm just fuming at myself. I'm frustrated, and I'd be like, I'm not being very. And the thing is context here. So it finally gets around that we were talking about two different things.
Ah,
yeah. He thought I was talking about this party when I was talking about the other party. So there was this.
So it's just parties all around.
Yeah, it was parties all around.
We like to party all the time. Party all the time.
Yeah.
The one Eddie Murphy song. Anyway.
So
don't ask me why I know that.
I gotcha. So yeah, there was a lot of confusion, and for me, it takes me a little bit of time to get down from being frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so this morning, get to work and how we kind of we put something on Facebook or put it on social media. That it's be just generally curious. I'm a very curious person about things, so I'll ask questions. And I feel like I stepped into a very large hole.
You did
on this one. I did.
You did.
I did. So I posted something about asking women in general about that if say if you're dating a guy who has a low self-esteem, be like, is he non-attractive or non-dating material? Mm-hmm. And I got a flurry of responses that kind of made me feel like I'm itty-bitty right now.
Well, here's the thing. You remember how you mentioned context a minute ago?
Yes.
You failed to consider the context you yourself were in.
Yes.
Because both of us are single men in our 30s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you ask this question about, are men with low self-esteem and low confidence dateable?
Yeah. Yeah, be like, I had that context.
At what point did it not come to your mind that people would think you were depressed?
Yeah,
I
didn't think about that.
I know we're coming up on Singles Awareness Day, but
yeah, I didn't quite get that until I started reading later on. It's like, oh, you need to read this book and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm not depressed. I'm just curious. I stepped into a rabbit hole without understanding the full context of what people were saying.
You left the wrong lines for people to read between, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, there we go.
Because that's how I read between the lines. It's like, okay, is he depressed and I just don't know it yet, or what's going on?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Either way, yeah, it's been a very interesting night and a half, a full day. Either way, it's been very interesting to being like very confused and not putting the full context in everything.
yeah,
So yeah, that's been me. How about you?
I've been all right. I've come up with a creative project idea to do.
Yeah, same
I
here.
put it on hold
Yeah,
because it's like, well, I can't do it before such and such date simply because that's a lot of work to do in a weekend.
right.
And then I put it off till a date that made more sense. That would be long after this first thing would be done.
Right.
And I ended up deciding, well, that's not really a wise use of my time. So now that's on hold indefinitely.
Right.
Maybe a year. I don't know. And I'm looking at perhaps a different creative project, but I got to wait till I can actually purchase an item.
I gotcha.
Before I give that a shot. And let's face it, the week before and the week after the first of the month ain't the time to spend money.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
On frivolities and
Yeah.
hobbies.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah, I kind of going back a little bit because I had forgotten that I'm actually working on a project.
yeah.
It's something I've been working on for a while, and just trying to get off the ground because I'm tired of sitting on my hands with the project and kind of waiting in the water. Just be like, if I don't jump on this now, be like, when am I ever going to jump on it?
Mm-hmm.
Or just get out there in the water, kind of like Peter, and just have faith enough to that
Yes, but Peter looked down and
Yes,
fell and
exactly. That's
fell in.
fell
So
in.
that might not be the best.
Yeah, I know.
Allergy? No, I meant
Analogy?
allegory. Analogy. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
for. I know what you mean, dude. So yeah, that's been what I've been doing outside of playing a little catch up on a couple other things, and my week's been rather steady. I guess is the right term for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much where I've been. What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? As I toss my phone.
Good job.
Yeah. So what have I been watching? All right. So for some reason, I've gotten on a Gundam kick for some reason.
A Gundam kick.
Yeah. Not picking up a gun and kicking it. No, Gundam kick.
No, I just thought you had perhaps had a little gunply of some Gundam you put together and you gave it a nice good kick.
Oh, I would be so upset about that. It's not even funny.
I mean, it would be an accident, obviously,
Yes.
but
Yes. But I stumbled across on YouTube the entire OVA of, if I get this right, Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. Yeah, that apparently takes during the 1 year war during the I can't remember what, but it's really good. I've gotten into, I think it's episode 4 or 5. Really, it's like 12 episodes, and it's considered I think it's an OVA or a series. I can't remember which.
yeah.
But I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and for someone, their first real experience into Gundam was Gundam Wing. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like Gundam Wing, but when you're introduced to a series that, be like, for crying out loud, I had the entire series on DVD, including the movie. So it's a series that holds a very special place in my heart. And I'm just kind of stretching out, seeing what else is there in this multitude of Gundam franchise. And so I like it. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
Well, as you know, I am a Trekkie.
Yes.
And if you're unaware, Star Trek got a new show come out last Thursday.
I got to see a little bit of it.
Called Star Trek Picard. It is the continuing adventures of Captain Picard about 20 years after Nemesis.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes, after Nemesis, after the movie Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah.
And, oh my word. This is so friggin' awesome. Before you get into any of the cool Star Trek-y stuff, the story itself is good. It's, Picard is dealing with, okay, so you remember Star Trek 2009?
Yes.
You remember the entire reason why Nero came back in time.
Oh, yeah.
What was that reason?
That would be that Romulus was going to be destroyed because of the supernova.
Not going to be destroyed. It
was destroyed. That's right. It was destroyed. That's
that
right.
supernova officially became canon.
Yeah.
Outside of what people said it was.
Yeah.
Because apparently 20 years prior to this show, the Romulan star went supernova, and Picard was in the middle at the time running relief efforts trying to get Romulans out of that solar system.
Yeah.
Before before the star blew up. Well, that was going great until a terrorist organization attacked the Utopia Planitia shipyards on Mars.
Yeah.
And I would tell you what that terrorist group was made of, but
spoiler alert for Picard.
Well, no, I'm not going to go too far into this. I'm just saying I'm not going to get into that simply because it is a big spoiler.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, the Federation pulled out. Picard got his ego crushed, and he dropped out of Starfleet and went to go hang out on his vineyard for the last 20 years. Just kind of being a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
And then a woman shows up on his door. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm safe with you.
Yeah. You kind of forgot that he has a dog.
Oh, I did not forget about number one. He does have a dog. It is a pit bull at Sir Patrick Stewart's request.
Oh, it was really?
Yeah, because he apparently runs. He's apparently does pit bull rescue stuff, but for some reason the UK does not allow that breed of dog. That particular breed of dog.
Really?
They have. I know they have bulldogs, but they don't allow pit bulls.
Yeah.
For some reason. So he's trying to get. But anyway, that's when he was asked, if you're going to have a dog on the show, what kind of dog you want? He said, I want a pit bull. So they got him a pit bull. And he named him number one.
Of course.
And here's the thing. When I first saw the poster with number one on it, I knew that was going to be his name, despite the fact they hadn't said it yet. It's like, oh, that would make perfect sense.
That would.
But that is all. The story itself is good. It's a great start. Story by itself, I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going.
Okay.
But on top of that, they know their lore very well and are playing into it.
Okay.
To the point where, in many ways, you could claim it starts off both where Nemesis ended and where Next Generation ended, with allusions to both.
Oh, okay.
Say, no, it doesn't matter where you stopped. We're going to start with a poker game, which is how all good things ended. The last episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Ah, okay.
With Picard finally stepping into the ship's weekly poker game for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And then
I remember that.
The moments at the beginning start with Blue Skies, which is the song Data was singing in Star Trek Nemesis.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to spoil Star Trek Nemesis, but let's just say that first couple minutes, I was being attacked by all the feels.
Ah, I gotcha.
The episode was great. I loved it. I'm looking forward to it next Thursday. It's coming Thursday. By the time you hear this, I will have watched the second episode. It is an amazing show so far, and I'm looking forward to where it goes. Plus, the last couple seconds, I would go, oh my goodness, this is awesome.
Well, good deal.
And I've also been, just completing the sci-fi train.
Yeah.
I've also been watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Ah. Where are you at?
I am still in season 4. I am to the episodes where Anakin and Obi-Wan are trying to stop the slaving planet.
Yeah.
The slavers.
Yeah.
And Anakin just got captured. Actually, they all just got captured, and Anakin's having to play slave to the queen of that planet.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So I'm about halfway through season 4, I think.
Gotcha.
I'm probably not going to finish before season 7 starts at the end of the month. In the next month, I mean. But I'll catch up to it eventually. If I'm not part of the discussion, oh well.
Oh, okay.
That's about how I am with it at this moment.
So what season did they cut it off? That's the thing.
Okay, so it was canceled at the end of season 5 before season 6 started being put out.
Okay.
But the remaining, they had already finished a bunch of the episodes for season 6, so those were released to Netflix.
That's right.
Immediately afterwards. All of that has been pulled from Netflix, of course, to be on Disney Plus, and so the new season is going to be season 7.
Oh, okay.
And it is going to give an official end to the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
More than just a cutoff because it got canceled.
Gotcha.
And if it goes by Dave Filoni's original plan for how the Clone Wars should end, it should be right before it should end right before Anakin and Obi-Wan go save the Chancellor from Count Dooku at the beginning of Episode 3.
Gotcha.
So yeah. What's in the news?
All right. So apparently, if anybody who around here is a Pokemon fan, apparently,
You got to catch them all.
yeah, you got to catch them all, and just don't follow Ash around because he's not a very good Pokemon catcher.
He is now finally a champion.
Really?
Yes, he won the Alola Championships.
Okay, how many years did it take him to do that?
20.
20 years.
But he's still 7 years old. So
Yeah, okay.
or however old he is, he didn't age a day.
Yeah.
Which is just leading credence to the theory that he's been in a coma since episode 2. But hey.
Yeah. Or hey, dude, where'd you find the Fountain of Youth? Because we like it too.
Nah.
Some of us
Get into
would.
that theory at a different later time.
Yeah.
But there is a theory goes around that since episode 2, way back in the Indigo League at the very beginning of the show,
Right.
he's been in a coma.
That's right. I keep
And
hearing.
all this is a gift from Ho-Oh, letting him have his dreams of being a Pokemon trainer,
I gotcha.
which is the theory as to why it took him 20 years to finally win a championship.
Okay. It's kind of like the theory of Calvin and Hobbes.
I'm not going with that theory.
Okay. Gotcha.
I love Calvin and Hobbes too much.
I understand. Hey, it's just a theory I've heard. That's all. But
There's
either
some
way.
people who ruin stuff, and I'm not saying that my thing doesn't ruin it, but hey.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of media out there that they've always kind of throw speculation, be like, oh, the person's in a coma or what is it, Adventure Time? They thought that was that, where the whole
No,
coma.
Adventure Time is actually a post-apocalyptic dystopia.
Really?
Yeah. They confirmed that pretty much in the show.
Oh, okay.
Finn's just the only human that's around anymore because all the other humans died in the war.
Oh, okay.
Except for the Ice King.
Well, for a person like myself
And
who's never
probably-
watched the series,
I've never watched it either. It's just, there was a time when that was the show and you couldn't swing a cat around around the internet without hitting Adventure Time at one point or another. So
I gotcha. All right. With all
Anyway.
that said, apparently Netflix and the Pokemon Company International announced a few days ago with the new animated movie based on the beloved Pokemon franchise's first film, we are getting a CGI style of Pokemon the movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
yes,
And
it is a CG remake of the original Pokemon movie
yes.
that eventually I think we are going to review.
Yes.
Maybe this year if I can get it on the list.
Yeah.
But
That would
this dub is this is a fresh dub. This movie came out I think a year or two ago in Japan.
yes.
And did technically get a theatrical showing here subtitled. So
Oh, okay.
about a year or two ago.
I gotcha. All right. So technically this would be the 22nd animated film. That's a lot of movies.
Well, I mean, you're also counting Detective Pikachu in that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but and the thing with anime is they like to put out a movie every year,
That is true.
and they do because they make money.
Yeah,
in
and
Japan.
ever since it was launched in 1998.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
why there's that many.
Oh, okay. All right. So, like you said, it premiered in Japan over the summer and will arrive on Netflix around the globe on February 27th, 2020, aka Pokemon Day. I didn't know there was a Pokemon Day.
Why is this Pokemon Day?
I have no idea.
This is weird.
Gotta catch them all. Pika?
I'll look that up later. I don't
Yeah.
care enough now. Anyway,
All right.
what else we got?
All right. A few movies won a few awards. Primarily Frozen 2.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The 11th annual, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Lunar Awards took place July 22nd. I've never heard of it either. But apparently Frozen received multiple awards, including Best Immersion Feature Film Animation by Disney, by Frozen 2, Best HDR Animated Frozen 2, Best Original Song Into the Unknown by Frozen 2. Gotcha. And the one I saw and I was like, oh my gosh, this movie actually got an award. And I had to share it. Best HDR Live Action Alita Battle Angel by Fox.
Yes. Love that movie.
Yes, a very I guess you would call it an underappreciated film.
And I don't know why it was so good.
It was. I
It
guess
was fun. I understand that, maybe it doesn't follow the traditional act structure of most Hollywood movies.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie.
Agreed. And that's all I've got for news.
Alrighty. Well, then let's move into our... Well, first... Nah. So now we're going to move into our stuff for... Everything moved. So now we're moving into our movie of this week, which is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
And I'm going to start off, if my phone will ever come up, with the one comment we got from y'all. If this will come up. I just turned airplane mode off and it's not coming up. And I just had it up here waiting and it...
Technology. You gotta love it, right?
This part will definitely be cut out.
Yeah.
Bow
wow 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 wow. You leave me hanging. It's like going up.
What is wrong with you? And I mean that in the best possible way. Okay. I'm almost there. I don't care about Sonic at the moment. Okay. So, I'll just start this section over. So, we're moving into our review of the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
And starting off, we're going to read the one comment we got on the Facebook page from Josh Adams. He says, a true classic that entertains both children and adults alike. Also, possibly the only time Christopher Lloyd was close to scary. I want to fight that,
and
but I can't think of something.
Yeah, me either.
Because there's got to be something else, and the closest I can think of... No, that's not even that scary, so...
No, be like, yeah, it's definitely one of his darkest performances, I would say. Either way, amazing performance by Christopher Lloyd.
So let's move into our spoiler-free review then.
All right.
You go first, sir.
All right. Oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? This has got a lot of nostalgia for me because apparently this was the movie that catapulted me into drawing. Mm-hmm. Very oddly enough, I don't think I've ever told the story.
I think you have once, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think in our first episode I talked about this.
Yeah,
but
when we were introducing each other.
Yes. So my parents had rented Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I had the back in the day they had VHSs.
You mean they put film onto magnetic tape and then stuck that in a plastic case that you then shoved into a machine that would violently rip the tape from the cartridge and wrap it around these heads and such and play the video off that? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, we were talking about very accurate description. And so, we're watching the film. I've got the cover, and I asked for run up to my dad. He was like, "Hey, Dad, can I have some paper and a pencil?" And so my dad gets like some butcher paper and some paper, what have you. And so the entire movie, everybody's watching. I'm doing this, just watch up and down, up and down. So I'm drawing it. And so by the end of the film, this is like a 2-hour film almost.
Yeah.
And so apparently I run up to my dad. I'm 3 years old. It's like, Daddy, look. And according to my dad, to this day, is like an exact replica of Roger Rabbit. And so that's where I started drawing when I was 3 with Roger Rabbit. So What can you say about Roger Rabbit? Except just a freaking amazing film that you have this amazing blend of animation, live action, and just the fact that characters that have never been seen on the same screen again will probably never ever.
No, it probably never will happen again.
It never happened again. Thank you, Spielberg.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But yeah, this movie is such an joy. It's incredible that this got made. And it's the light. If you've never seen this film, go watch it. Be like, I don't know. I do not know of anybody who has not watched this film. But if you haven't, okay. Be like, they need to be trained the wise decision to go watch this movie. Either way.
The reason some might not watch it is, at least this is what I was told, is why I did not watch this until I was already in my 30s.
Really?
Yeah, or late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in there. Apparently, the reason I didn't watch it until then was because my parents told me that they were told that the movie was too adult for kids to watch.
Oh, okay.
I think they were thinking of Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, I think so.
And admittedly, I can't disagree with this, but
I'm not bad. I was just drawn that way.
Exactly. So, yeah, I did not watch it until the last 10 or so years.
Oh, okay.
And I can tell you that first time I watched it, I thought it was cool.
Oh, okay.
Start there. I thought it was cool. I had very little knowledge of. I didn't even cross my mind that this was before computer editing, or that was even be a difference. It's just like, okay, yeah, they filmed the thing probably in live action, and then they drew on top of the film. What's the big deal?
Yeah,
I don't know how hard it is to draw animation. What do I know? But the second time I
been there, done that. It's hard.
The second time I watched it. And I'd been through a graphic design program in college, and I thought, oh my word, this is an amazing movie just for the animation alone.
Agreed.
The editing of the animation with the live action is the best I've seen. Now, admittedly, it's because it's the end of that technology line. It's probably the last one of these live action movies with the animated stuff before computer editing became a standard procedure.
Right.
But at the same time, there was a time where I couldn't figure out how they did half the stuff, because you look at it and you go, that weasel is holding a physical gun.
Uh-huh.
How? Now, I've seen the special features. I know how they did it now.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, that is awesome. That there's this movie had to have been next to impossible to make. And they made it.
Pretty much.
It's an amazing film. It's got a great story. It's got a
great cast.
And it's probably the thing this film does that it will never happen again at all.
Yes, I agree.
You will never have the cast, the Disney cast, and the Warner the Disney cartoons and the Warner Brother cartoons, voiced by almost all of them are voiced by the original people who made the characters.
Oh yeah,
it's more their characters than the animators, because in terms of performance,
even older characters too.
Right. Well, I'm basically talking about the fact that you've got Mel Blanc voicing nearly every single one of his characters that he knows from that. You've got, almost all of the Disney people are the originals, or they are at that point the most current actors in those roles. You've got and yet you even got, and we'll get into this in a second, you've got voice actors, you got animators who made these cartoons originally from two different companies. Working together on the same scene so that the animation for both characters is exactly the way it's supposed to be. That's never going to happen again. This movie is a piece of history that should not be forgotten.
It's a piece of treasure.
Yes.
It's a national treasure.
Well, as long as Nicolas Cage doesn't show up and try to steal something from it, we're in good shape.
Agreed.
But anyway, It's a great movie, and it's one of my favorites of all time.
Well, good
A
deal.
little bit of a spoiler alert there.
Yeah.
But anyway, shall we continue on into the spoiler-filled section?
All right, so let's dive into Toontown.
Alrighty. Warning. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Listener discretion is advised. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who is most famous for directing all 3 of the Back to the Future movies.
Yay!
And Forrest Gump.
Yes.
The animation director who was uncredited in the movie was Richard Williams, who is most famous for The Thief and the Cobbler, which was a passion project of his that took 3 decades to get done.
Really?
And it still did not come out the way it should have. And
Okay.
they've been trying to restore it ever since then, because you go and watch the DVD, there's like tons of... It's his most famous work, and they've been trying to get it to the way he intended it to be, and it's just not been great so far.
Okay.
Anyway, also, Raggedy Ann and Andy, a musical adventure.
Okay.
This is the really super trippy Raggedy Ann and Andy movie.
Oh, okay.
The super trippy one, the one that will give you nightmares.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Give you an idea as to the animation style.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
It was based on the book Who Censored Roger Rabbit by Gary K. Wolfe.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was so successful, despite all the amount of changes to from the source material, that the author, when he went and wrote the sequel, based it more off the movie and explained the original book away as being a dream Roger Rabbit had.
Okay, that's interesting.
The screenplay was written by Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Seaman, who both wrote, together they wrote the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Adventures in Wonder Park, which just came out last year.
Yeah.
And, supposedly, in pre-production right now, Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2.
Okay, that's going to be
supposedly comes out at the end of the year. We'll see.
Yeah.
The music was by Alan Silvestri.
Oh, yes.
Who is most famous currently for Captain America, the First Avenger, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame.
You're forgetting one very crucial one.
Lilo and Stitch?
Nope.
But he did Lilo and Stitch too.
Yes, he did. Back to the Future.
Yeah, I figured you'd get that one in there.
Yeah.
The cast, Bob Hoskins plays Eddie Valiant. He played Mario in Super Mario Brothers.
Oh gosh, that movie.
And Smee in Hook.
Yes, I love that performance.
Christopher Lloyd plays Judge Doom. He is famous for Dr. Emmett Brown in Back to the Future.
Yes.
Commander Kruge in Star Trek III, The Search for
Spock. Yes, good movie.
And for our first Kingdom Hearts reference.
Oh, here it came. Here it comes.
In Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, specifically the DLC, not the base game, but the DLC.
Oh,
he
really?
plays Master Xehanort.
Oh, okay.
The main villain.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Originally that role was started by Leonard Nimoy.
Dun, 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 dun.
But unfortunately he died after, both appearances, the first 2 appearances of the character.
Yes.
So when they were going to this, they hired another guy who was, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he died this year. So when they went to go voice this one, they had to hire somebody else.
So
I'm now worried for Christopher Lloyd.
No, Doc, no.
Yeah, we don't want
but
that.
Doc.
So Joanna Cassidy played Dolores. And in the movie Blade Runner, she played Zahora.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Fleischer played Roger Rabbit, Benny the Cab, Greasy, and Psycho.
Oh, okay.
And in Back to the Future Part 2, he played Terry.
Oh my gosh, yes!
And Dr. King in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, yes! I remember that. Oh my gosh!
Stubby K plays Marvin Acme.
Okay.
Now, I didn't see much on there that I immediately recognized, but
Yes.
he was in a movie that I recognized the name of, Guys and Dolls.
Okay, the name
It's like
sounds
an
familiar.
old movie.
Yeah,
And
sounds
he
familiar.
apparently played a character in there called Nicely Johnson.
Okay, then.
I don't know what that is, but that is an interesting name. Alan Turvin plays R.K. Maroon,
Mm-hmm.
and then Superman,
Cake.
the Richard Donner Superman movie.
Yes.
He played the second controller. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But he was an extra, and that was the main thing I saw him in.
Okay.
Richard, and I'm going to mess up this last name, I apologize. LaParmentier. He plays Lieutenant Santino, which I must believe is the police officer in charge of the case
Okay.
in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, he played General Motti.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember who General Motti is?
No, I don't.
Do you remember the guy who said, "Don't scare us with your sorcerous ways, Lord Vader. This battle station," and then Darth Vader choking him, the first force choke of the series?
Yes.
That was him.
Oh, my gosh.
Lou Hirsch plays Baby Herman.
Mm-hmm.
And in Superman 3, he played Fred.
Okay.
If you're trying to figure out why a lot of these live action actors, I'm having a hard time finding stuff, it's because a lot of them weren't in much.
I gotcha.
Betsy Brantley played Jessica Rabbit's performance model.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much she acted on there, and then they drew over her
Yes.
character over here. And in the movie The Princess Bride,
Yeah.
she played what is that guy's name? The kid.
Ben Savage?
Yeah, Ben Savage. She plays his mother.
Oh, okay. The person you barely see in the film.
Yeah, but that's who she played.
Oh, okay. I
That's
gotcha.
the thing she's most known for.
Wow. Okay.
Kathleen Turner, uncredited, played Jessica Rabbit.
That's right. Yeah.
And in the movie Romancing the Stone, she played Joan Wilder.
Yeah.
And if you know something I don't, go ahead.
No, I do not. It's
Okay.
just
You sounded like you had something.
no, just the fact that like Jessica Rabbit is prop because even the director said this. Bob Zemeckis said this that be like Jessica Rabbit was probably every young boy's first crush,
Well, except I didn't see it till I was in my 20s. So
and I would definitely heartily agree.
okay. Mae Questel plays Betty Boop.
Oh,
She
yes.
is the original voice for Betty Boop.
Yeah, that was when I learned that. I was oh my gosh.
She was also the original voice for Olive Oil in Popeye.
I can see that.
And in the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
Okay.
she plays Aunt Bethany.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, wasn't it true? Isn't it true that she that the actress she passed away shortly after her last performance as Betty Boop?
I think so.
I think
it
so.
would have been because I think Christmas Vacation was before this.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Mel Blanc
Oh, Mel Blanc.
plays Daffy Duck, Tweety Bird, Bugs Bunny, Sylvester, and Porky Pig.
Oh, the
He
ending
did
is so
not
funny.
play his classic voices because he also should have, if he had been able to, he would also have done Foghorn Leghorn and Yosemite Sam, but he was unable to do that because of how old he was getting.
Yeah, and also the fact that at the end, because listening to the commentary, be it like you learn that Mel Blanc died like months after his performance.
He had 1,149 acting credits on IMDb.
Jiminies.
Most of those being because he was like in every Looney Tunes and Merry Melody cartoon for like 20 years
Oh yeah.
because of how many characters he played.
Mm-hmm.
But also in Buck Rogers, that movie,
Oh yeah.
he played Tweaky.
Okay.
And in the animated Jetsons, the movie,
Yeah.
he played Mr. Spacely. And I believe he played Mr. Spacely in the original cartoon.
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Tony Anselmo plays Donald Duck. He is the current Donald Duck in DuckTales and pretty much anything else Disney related, including Kingdom Hearts. And I swear I nearly sent a picture to you today when I was going through the IMDb list of like 50 different entries for Kingdom Hearts on his page. It's like, gee, I wonder if he was in that game. But that's the main thing I saw that he had. Joe Lasky played Yosemite Sam and Foghorn Leghorn. Along with those characters, he's also the current voice for Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Okay.
And in the movie Casper, he played Stinky.
Oh, okay.
One of the three uncle ghosts.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The stinky one.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes. Wayne Allwine plays Mickey Mouse. And he played Mickey Mouse for a long time.
Okay.
Like 30, 40 years.
Wow.
And only stopped a couple years ago. And unfortunately, since then has passed.
Yeah, because I heard he had recently retired.
And his last role his last video game role as King Mickey was in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Got it.
Specifically Kingdom Hearts 2. I think he might have been in Birth by Sleep, but I could not find that on there because, anyway.
Okay.
But also, when I checked the current one, he hadn't done Birth by Sleep, which is why I think that.
Okay. I am sensing a lot of Kingdom Hearts and Back to the Future references.
You think?
Yeah, you think so?
Last but not least, our animation director had a cameo role as Droopy Dog.
Ah.
And that was the most of everything else. I left out a bunch of minor roles.
Yeah.
Only because they're minor roles in this movie, but they are almost in every instance played by their original voice actors if they are on animated characters. And I do mean nearly every single one.
Yeah.
There's a couple I'm sure it's not, but you're pretty much safe in assuming if you see a character on screen, you know who it is, and they talked even just something in the background, they were voiced by their original voice actor.
Wow, that's crazy.
And as a bit of trivia, this is the first movie in history with character cameos. Any cameo before this would have been like an actor showing up in a different role. This is the first time where you just have characters showing up in the background for pretty much no good reason other than we wanted to have that character in the background.
I gotcha.
This after that point, you actually have Marvel movies where you have character cameos all through it. Space Jam is another good example.
Right.
Both of the Ralph Breaks the Wreck-It Ralph movies are like this with video game characters. This was the first time that had ever been done.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, anyway.
I think you missed one person, possibly.
I may have. I was kind of going quickly through the list.
Yeah, a certain producer. Steven
Spielberg? I think everyone knows who Steven Spielberg is.
Yeah, it's true.
And usually I don't put the producers on the list.
Yeah, true, but also this is Steven Spielberg.
It is an Amblin Entertainment thing, so Steven Spielberg is involved.
Yes. Who's done like a ton of movies. And
yes, but yeah, I don't normally put the producers on there because I don't actually know what producers do other than get people to pay money to produce the thing.
Pretty much. Either way.
And get a say in the script writing and such. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go through the nuts and bolts.
Yes.
As I like to call it. All right. So we're going to add
Give
something.
us our nuts and bolts.
All right. So
how do they screw together?
All right. So I've added one little thing here. All right. So on IMDb, it's ranked at a 7.7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's too low in my opinion.
Yeah, that is way too low for this film. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 97%.
I can agree with that.
I will agree with you on that.
Is that the critic review or the audience review?
I think it's critics review.
Okay. There is a difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference.
If it's the main tomato meter one, then it's critics.
Yeah.
Or tomatometer, however you say that.
Thermometer.
Tomatometer. You'd think living here in Jacksonville, the tomato capital of East Texas, we'd know this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Either way, it was produced by Touchstone Pictures and Ambit Entertainment. It was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, a.k.a. Disney.
Yes.
It was released on June 22nd, 1988. Had a budget of $50.7 million. Mm-hmm. Had an opening weekend of $11.2 million. It had a U.S. gross of $156.4 million and a worldwide gross of $320 $6.8 million.
Okay.
This thing blew its budget out of the water.
Which is amazing considering how expensive this movie was to make.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's literally
Licensing fees alone.
yeah, license the fee, and plus it was literally, it's like they had to shoot like literally 2 movies for this film.
One live, because every shot an animated character is in,
Yes.
they had to print that frame.
Yes.
Every frame of that bit out onto a photograph.
Yeah.
Put a bit of tracing paper on it, and the animators drew over where they were supposed to draw over.
Yes.
And then composited those images together on a essentially a visual printer. I don't remember the exact terms.
Right.
This process was so complicated, reshoots were out of the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whatever they got that first when it left, whatever they had after it left.
Oh yeah,
the live action shooting phase. That's all you're gonna get because because at that point the any amount of
wiggle
fixing, redoing would require all the animation in that scene to have to be redone also.
Yeah. So there was also a good point of that where they had to adjust the animation to
fit.
Yeah, to fit.
Because there's like I know of one instance where Bob Hoskins was not looking at he was supposed to be looking like 6 inches below him.
Yes, he was actually
and he was looking at eye level, so they had to move Roger Rabbit up.
So yeah, he was standing up his tiptoes.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the scene I was talking about. Oh,
and also there's a point in there where they bump a light, and so they actually had to keep the shading constant.
Oh,
as
yeah,
the light would move back and forth on Roger Rabbit himself.
Yes.
But we'll get more into that when we get into our likes and dislikes, because I'm sure that's going to come up.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Anyway, sorry. I interrupted.
No, you're good. Ah.
Stretch.
Yes. It's been a long 2 days.
Yes. I understand.
All right. So, where we go? Yeah.
Well, did you finish all your nuts and bolts?
Oh!
You were in the middle of nuts and bolts.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yes, I am done.
Okay. Well, then we'll move into the synopsis.
Yeah.
Eddie Valiant is a detective.
Duh.
He had a brother who was killed by a toon. So now Eddie Valiant is not a big fan of toons. Oh, did I forget to mention, toons are real living things in this world.
Yeah.
Made out of ink and paint. I had to stop and think. And they are filmed, when they make cartoons, they are literally filmed just like you would film a live action person.
Uh-huh.
In this universe. So Eddie gets hired by Roger Rabbit is having a hard time acting. He's been making simple, easy mistakes he shouldn't be making, and it's causing his cartoons to kind of get overrun.
Yeah.
And going over budget, sort of thing, because they keep having to reshoot stuff. So RK Maroon, the owner of the studio, hires Eddie to get pictures of Roger Rabbit's wife being unfaithful to Roger so that Roger will dump her and focus on the cartoon.
Yes.
That's his thought. Eddie is able to find Roger Rabbit's wife, Jessica Rabbit, at the Ink and Paint Club.
Yes.
Where he also runs into Marvin Acme.
Yes.
The owner of the Acme Corporation that makes all the gags and is also all the gags for the cartoons, and plus are the owners of Toontown.
Yes.
So Marvin Acme goes backstage after Jessica Rabbit's performance.
Yes.
At that club, and they play patty cake.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go into patty cake.
Yeah.
But that scene is funny.
Yeah, it's literally patty cake.
It's literally patty cake.
It's literally patty cake.
Despite the fact they make it sound like something else.
Bad. But it's not. It's just patty cake.
It's just patty cake. Well, these pictures of his wife playing patty cake with Marvin Acme, of course, make Roger Rabbit go crazy. And he says a lot of things that become incriminating the next day when Marvin Acme turns up dead, having been killed by a toon. Well, because Eddie was involved in this. The police come and get him and take it down there. And we, for the first time, meet Judge Doom. Apparently, the judge, prosecutor, jury, and entire police force.
Yeah.
And essentially authoritarian dictator of Toontown.
Yes.
Despite the fact he doesn't own it yet. And he shows off this horrible concoction, the easiest way to punish or hurt a toon, called dip, which is literally made from paint thinner.
Yeah.
If you look at the three chemicals he mentions, they are common materials in paint thinner and ink thinner.
Yes.
So literally death to a toon.
Oh, yeah.
They're made out of this stuff.
So very interesting story when you say that. Okay, I went to college at Lon Morris College, and I was doing visual art. And so you'd be locked up in, not locked up literally, but you would be stuck in an art studio, in an art room for hours. And all you're using is oil paints and paint thinners. Mm-hmm. And boy, do you get not high, but really, really trippy. You get close enough to be high.
Yeah.
But yes, I thought it'd be kind of a humorous segue. Continue.
Yes. Okay. So, and now I've lost my spot.
Of course.
So, Eddie, having seen that and is convinced himself that it must be Roger Rabbit's fault, considering everything that Roger said, ends up going back to his office / apartment / living area.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he runs into Roger Rabbit, who's looking for him, hiding out in his office, because that makes more sense than standing out in the hallway where everyone can see him.
That's Roger.
And tells Eddie that he didn't kill Marvin Acme. All he did after he left there that night was he went there, he was going to do something, but ended up not doing anything, and instead wrote a love letter to his wife on a random piece of paper he found.
With red ink.
With red ink. So it's like, okay, you didn't kill him. Maybe. But still, he's still a wanted fugitive.
Or wanted toon.
Yeah, fugitive toon.
Fugitive toon.
So they're trying to figure out a way to get him to for Roger to clear his name. And Roger's trying to clear his name. They go into hiding, but they're always being chased by Judge Doom and the Weasels, who, if they laugh too long, will eventually die. Just like their cousins, the hyenas. Yes. So, after many shenanigans, they end up in a theater that is showing a Goofy cartoon as they're hiding out, trying not to get caught. And apparently they didn't think anyone would ever come here.
Yeah.
There, which ends up being true.
And apparently it was the most physical film they could find.
It was the most zany film they could find, despite the fact it's anachronistic.
Yeah.
But Eddie tells Roger this whole backstory about why he doesn't like toons.
Yeah. And who can blame him?
Right. Who can blame him, really? And even Roger doesn't blame him for that. So they end up leaving there.
Yes.
And they go to Maroon Studios. Well, as they were leaving, sorry, let me back up. As they were getting ready to leave, the newsreel goes to it goes to a newsreel.
Yeah.
And on the newsreel is a story about RK Maroon selling the studio.
Yeah.
To Cloverleaf Industries.
Yes.
Now, Cloverleaf Industries is a company that is buying up all the public transportation in the city to dismantle it. Not that they are claiming this, but we find this out later.
Yeah.
To dismantle it so they can build a freeway. Now, before I get too far into this, despite what the movie may have you think about, because I mean, even Eddie at one point says that's a stupid enough idea that only a toon could have thought it up.
Yeah.
It was real. That actually happened.
Yes.
They didn't have to pave over a cartoon-filled world to do it, but
it did happen.
It did happen. So they go to visit RK Maroon in his office, and Eddie kind of puts the pressure on him, and somebody shoots RK right before he's able to tell them what happened. But does pretty much give them enough evidence to continue on. Well, while Eddie's up there getting this information, Roger gets knocked off, dragged into a car, and disappears.
Oh, correction. He gets knocked out.
That's what I mean, knocked out. So Eddie ends up following the car to Robert Zemeckis' favorite tunnel, because he uses it in every movie.
Back to the Future.
And just as a quick cool little thing, if you look on the at the top of the arch on that tunnel, you can see Felix the cat.
Yeah.
As the comedy drama faces masks.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool.
That was kind of awesome.
So Eddie pulls out his special gun that was given to him by Yosemite Sam for getting him out of the Hooskow, which is a cartoon gun with cartoon bullets.
Yes.
And after shooting and destroying his liquor bottle, so that he no longer to give the idea that he's going to be sober from this point on, goes into Toontown,
and
which is chaos.
Yes.
And
it's an acid trip and a half.
I wouldn't go that far. It is essentially what you would assume a town that's made up of cartoons would be like.
That is true.
And
pure zaniness.
He's looking for
Jessica.
He pretty much knows that Jessica Rabbit has kidnapped him because he still thinks Jessica Rabbit is a part of this deal. Spoiler alert, she ain't.
Yeah.
But she's trying to protect her husband.
Yeah.
Because she got into this mess trying to make sure her husband would continue having a job.
Yeah.
But he doesn't find Jessica.
No.
He finds Lena Hyena, who chases him all over the place, and eventually through a empty door, or through a bathroom door that is out of order, that we see most of the bathroom is gone. And it's apparently the only part of that building that would have been over the street.
That is
anyway. He falls, and because this is cartoon physics going on at this point, he falls, ends up grabbing a flagpole that is apparently the living place of one Tweety Bird. And if you know anything about how Tweety Bird deals with people hanging from his home. Sorry, this is a he.
Yes,
his home. Eddie falls again.
Yeah,
and this time runs into two very interesting cartoon characters.
Iconic characters.
You might know them. I don't know. They're kind of minor characters. Most people don't know. Their names are Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny.
Ain't I stinking?
Yeah. And Bugs offer they offer to give Eddie a spare parachute. Well, let me rephrase. They offer to give Eddie a spare.
Yes.
And they give him a spare tire.
Well, the correction, Bugs gives him the spare tire.
Bugs gives him the spare tire. Well, it was an Acme tire. And Disney does not normally use Acme products because that's all. Acme is actually owned by Warner Brothers.
Yes, and plus Mickey wouldn't do that.
So he crashes into. Well, I think he would actually if you watch some of the classic Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Okay,
from this era.
Okay.
So they crash into. He falls onto the street, but because it's Toon World, he's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Because that's how physics in this world work.
Yeah.
But Lena Hyena's gotten down through him, is now chasing him, and causes her to run into a wall via the classic Toon gag. And now finally finds Jessica Rabbit.
Yes.
She explains to him what's going on, and they leave only to run into Judge Doom, who spills dip all over the street. By the way, they're riding in Benny the Cab at this point.
Yes.
And Benny runs over the dip, which causes him to be severely injured.
Yeah, he's supposed to go flat.
But thankfully, it's only on his tires, so at least it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, well,
and they end up going to Marvin Acme's. Jessica and Roger end up getting captured by Judge Doom because of this.
Yes,
and taken to the Marvin Acme warehouse where Marvin Acme died. And he's got this big street cleaner with a hose, with a high pressure water hose on it, full of dip that he is going to, and once he knocks down the door in Toontown, in Acme's, in the Acme warehouse wall, he'll be able to spray the dip through everything, killing all of Toontown. Eddie comes in because he knew where they went. Yeah. And, things happen.
Oh, yeah.
The weasels get killed by laughing, as we expect them to. Roger and Jessica nearly die 3 times.
Yes.
And Judge Doom gets flattened under a steamroller.
Surprise!
Surprise.
He's a toon.
Surprise, he's actually a toon. In fact, he's the toon that killed Eddie's brother.
Just like this!
Yes. So, shenanigans ensue. A little bit, we get to hear a little bit more of the merry-go-round broke down, which is quite a loony selection.
Yes.
And Judge Doom gets dies in dip.
Yes.
Hoisted by his own petard. And the movie ends with all the characters coming in. The dip vehicle gets... While it does continue to drive through the wall and into Toontown, it doesn't have any dip in it anymore.
Yeah.
But gets taken out by a train.
Full of killers.
Well, yeah, if you actually go frame by frame, there's a death happening in every window. For some reason, other than, hey, it's funny. So, movie ends. Eddie finally figures out that Marvin Acme's will, that's 9/10 of the trouble of this movie, the whole reason any of this took place, is the piece of paper that Roger wrote the love note on.
Yes.
So he gets Roger to read the love note, and after he reads his note, he starts reading the will, and they go, oh, it's the will! Toontown is saved! Yay! And they end with the classic ending scenes from both Disney and Warner Brothers, with Porky Pig saying "That's all, folks," and Tinkerbell waving her wand, causing the movie to end.
Yes,
and that is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes,
no question mark, because apparently question mark is a superstitious in Hollywood in a movie title. Apparently. Anyway,
yeah.
Do you mind if I go first, even though I've been talking a lot?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I want to hit the first thing I like about this movie: the world building.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They went to a lot of trouble for it to make sense and be completely believable that all these characters, as animated characters, can work in a world with humans. And I love that the fact that the dip is paint thinner. Yeah. Get right down to it.
Yes.
The toons, when they do something in the real world, still have the toon physics.
Yeah.
But this can actually be harmful to humans. The fact that... the animation, the character models, for all the characters are where they would be when this movie takes place, which is 1947, I believe. I believe it's 47. I believe it's 1947 when it takes place. And of course, you've got all the original voice actors, like I said earlier, reprising their roles. I believe it's 1947. Anyway, even to the fact that there are a couple of anachronisms that you can kind of get away with. Like we said earlier, the Goofy cartoon they're showing in there is not supposed to be there. It was made after.
Yeah, that would have been in the 50s.
It was made during the 50s. But they literally picked it because it was the zaniest thing in the Disney vault.
Oh, yeah.
But Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner are in this movie, despite the fact they weren't made until like the 50s.
Yeah.
But they were included because they are pretty much, I think it's either Robert Zemeckis or Steven Spielberg, I don't remember which one, but it was their favorite Looney Tunes characters.
Oh, okay.
But they're not filming any cartoons. They're just working on the lot, which is kind of cool. The fact that when you expect to see a character, they do show up. The whole thing is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The fact that instead of looking for DNA, not that they would have looked for DNA in the 40s,
right?
But the forensic evidence they're using is actually paint.
Yes.
And apparently the paint is different for every character.
That would make sense.
The fact that you've got the whole thing about the Cloverleaf Industries and then paving over Hollywood to build a freeway and taking out all the public transportation by buying it and then selling it off. That actually did happen. That also happened around this time.
Yeah. Where basically all the major freeways are where all the trolley cars are now.
Pretty much. The world building in this is so good that I can't even go into all of it.
Yeah.
Because
it's so massive.
Every bit of it makes so much sense.
Agreed.
And that's really why it's my number one, is the fact that by the logic of this movie, everything does make sense. And that, to me, is an example of good world building. So, yeah.
Okay.
What's your number one?
Mine kind of flows in with yours a little bit. It's actually the blending of live action and animation. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have... The fact that they could do this, be like with how Zemeckis designed this film.
Yeah.
And the live action falls and like special effects, which are all in-camera work.
Yes.
Be like, there again, this is an age where they didn't have digital technology. Mm-hmm. So everything had to be handmade. Every prop that had to fall, it had to be pressurized or rigged to do that. And so it's literally having to follow around, like when they were trying to cut this film together, be like, they didn't have animation at first. Right. They had like little ideas of what was going on.
Then they literally used puppets.
Yes, they literally used puppets.
Play the animated characters.
Yes. And oddly enough, the guy who played Roger Rabbit walked around in a rabbit suit.
Well, he was dressed as Roger.
Yeah, he was dressed as Roger.
Movie. Bob Hoskins thought he was a nut.
And I can't remember what studio they were performing this at, but the studio over the movie next door, because they were talking.
The rest of the studio thought, man, the special effects of that Roger Rabbit movie are horrible.
Yeah, I can't remember what movie it was.
It's going to be a horrible movie.
But yeah, he really got into that character. It was so amazing. The like you said earlier, the fact that they literally had to print every frame and then draw over that.
Yes.
And there was one story where the one point where the weasels come in.
Yeah.
I think they come into the bar or something like that. Be like, that frame, those animation had not been drawn yet. And this was like maybe like a couple of weeks before the movie had to premiere. Mm-hmm. They literally locked the animator in a room and he spent the next day and a half drawing weasels.
That sounds horrible.
It does. They were like, get it done. Okay, I'll get it done. But he took like 2 to 3 days doing it, but he got it done. But the animation in this movie, like I always say, is fantastic for the time. For the time and like how they did, because they could have simply just been like, oh, we're going to draw the animation, we're going to color it, blah, 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 put it on the frame.
But the fact that the animation moves 3-dimensionally among the live action characters, which is not something that was done at that time. Because, the animators are used to 2D. They're not used to 3D.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why they were using the puppets anyway, so they'd know where the puppet was and where the character's supposed to be in the frame.
Right. And also the what was it? ILM. They threw ILM into this with doing the lights and the shadows and like to make these characters more realistic in the real world. And I found that phenomenal. The amount of effort, the extra effort they put into it, and that it could have simply been like, oh, we're just going to do this and just be done with it. But they took that extra step to make this movie even more phenomenal.
To the point where I only saw really one animation error, which I'll get into when we get to dislikes.
Yes. What is your number 2?
My number 2, Toontown.
Yes.
Toontown could have been stupid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Actually, let me back up. No, that's fine. Number 2 is Toontown. It could have been incredibly stupid how that worked.
Right.
Apparently, at one point, they were going to have Bob Hoskins character be animated.
Really?
At an early point, they dropped that because that was going to end up being too expensive.
Yeah.
But that entire sequence from beginning to end, it's like, I know this is where it was leading, and it is kind of nice to see. As much as we've seen the animated characters in the real world, it's kind of interesting to see the real world.
Yes.
With the animated characters or the real people in the animated world. That's cool to see, and especially love every single little sight gag in there, like the truck that Eddie drives into.
Yeah.
Did you see what was listed on the side of the truck?
Oh, I'm drawing a blank. What was it?
Acme overused gags.
Oh yeah.
And it was all bowling ball.
That's right. The
classic usage of the classic Toon tropes, like the like in the bar scene early on.
Oh yeah.
You want the drink? No, I don't want the drink.
The reverse psychology.
Yeah, the reverse psychology. That was great. The use of the merry-go-round broke down. Mm-hmm. Do you know what's important about that song?
I can't remember what tune it's actually from, but what is it?
Well, the song was used as the theme to Looney Tunes.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why Judge Doom's line when he looks at the thing, it says, "The merry-go-round broke down." That's quite a loony selection for the group for these bar patrons, isn't it? a Looney selection.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes. And then, of course, Shaving a Haircut 2 Bits.
Yes.
Which, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it is this melody. It is one of the most common sound things. The actual musical version of it is doot 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 doot, and it's used everywhere, but it's mainly associated with cartoons, especially cartoons of this era.
That makes sense.
And then you've got the use of Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2 during Daffy Duck and Donald Duck.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That is what that song's most known for, is its use in 40s era cartoons, specifically the Cat Concerto, which was a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah.
There was a Bugs Bunny cartoon that used it, and there was a Mickey Mouse cartoon that used it.
Really?
It's a very it's classic composition.
Yes.
But it was used for that because it's kind of a little bit of a zany song, and also, but it sounds classical enough. It makes sense in those settings.
Oh yeah.
And the use of that was it was brilliant. You want to get right down to it.
And also kind of the point with the when Daffy and Donald are playing that, they actually had to speed the song up to make it actually more realistic to a tune playing it. Yeah. Because it just sped up because it was incredibly insane.
Right.
But
here's the other cool thing about that scene.
Yeah.
Daffy, Donald Duck is being animated by one of the classic Disney animators.
Yes.
Daffy Duck is being animated by Chuck Jones.
Jeez.
The Chuck Jones.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, it's not Chuck Jones as Daffy, because Chuck Jones didn't animate Daffy in the 40s. It's, oh shoot, I'm going to hate myself for not remembering this guy's name.
Yeah.
But it's the main guy from that time.
Yeah.
And actually, Chuck Jones got so mad at the fact they forced that on there, because that he actually hates the movie.
Really?
Because he messed with his creative work, I guess. It was
a understood
process, but admittedly, Chuck Jones was better, in my opinion, on Tom and Jerry than he was in... No, I'm sorry. He was better... Moving on. But that much detail to give every single character the right look and feel.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. Even Lena Hyena, who is not a character you're supposed to like. It's a joke character.
Yeah.
The fact that she's the one that gets to do the run into the wall when he moves the stripe.
Yes.
That's you know what? That works. And of course, she got his line, tunes. Gets him every time.
Yeah.
And of course, Judge Doom, knowing that Shaving a Haircut 2 Bits is something that a tune can't help but react to.
Yeah. And finish.
Yes. Anyway. Yeah. That's my number 2, is the fact that they use so many classic cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
And it all comes to a head in Toontown. Mm-hmm. And I haven't even talked about the Bugs Bunny Mickey Mouse scene.
No.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Disney and Warner Brothers would not license their major characters. They were fine with the minor ones, but they wouldn't license their major characters if they did not get the same amount of lines, word for word, with their Disney counterparts.
Yes.
And so in all 3 instances where where they interact, if you count, with the exception of Porky and Porky and Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell doesn't talk.
Tinkerbell doesn't talk. I think is how they got away with that.
Yeah.
To make sure, if you pay attention to every single one of those scenes, they have the same amount of words, and that's why they're in the scene together, to make sure they have those words. Donald and Daffy have the same much. Both the times Mickey and Bugs are on scene at time, once at Toontown, and their lines at the end of the movie, they're the exact same length.
Yeah.
And it's just that's something you'll just never get to see again.
Yes, I agree.
Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck and Donald Duck on screen at the same time.
Yes.
And unfortunately, one of the things I'm afraid of, and this is just me being a cranky old man, kids today don't understand why that's cool.
No, probably not.
They don't watch these classic cartoons because those were considered too violent in the late 90s for kids to watch. And that annoys the crud out of me.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Oh, man.
Anyway.
Yes.
What is your number 3?
Well,
or number 2? Sorry.
Well, my number 2 kind of was spilled over into your number 2.
This is not surprising.
No, it's not. It's not. But I'm going to go to a little direction. I'm going to go with the Tex Avery influence.
Yes.
Of this film. Definitely with Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, considering she is based on Red Hot Riding Hood.
Yes, she is. And it's just, I don't know a lot about Tex Avery. I know his cartoons were a little more.
Bob Clampett. That's the guy's name I couldn't think of.
Bob Clampett.
That the Daffy Duck was based on. Sorry.
Okay, you're fine. The fact that Tex Avery was a legendary artist, legendary producer in the animation studios that kind of did his own thing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of his stuff was kind of be like, oh, you just do more like this, not shady, but rather more risque kind of cartoons. Be like if anybody knows the Jim Carrey movie The Mask, be like there's a lot of Tex Avery influence with how he turns into the wolf, and I think you actually see the wolf in this movie. I think so. You do. I think so, but be like with how Jessica Rabbit is designed and all these amazing characters. It's just how they brought all these kind of tying back into your number 2 again with how they brought in all these amazing talents and brought in all these amazing characters to culminate in one phenomenal film that, like you said earlier, that will never be replicated ever again. Mm-hmm. And that is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing in every sense of the word. And man, I love this movie. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is that despite all the looniness, the zaniness, and tooniness, for lack of a better term, of this movie, it is a good detective noir
yes,
story.
It is.
Now, is it a bit formulaic? Sure. But that's because as good a story as it is, that being the... Despite the fact you can see who the villain is the minute he's on screen. And it's not a surprise. It's still that's like that. It's so that tone is kept throughout the whole thing.
Right.
It's a classic. I mean, when Judge Doom shows up, he's the villain.
Yes.
I mean, he murders a cartoon character in his first scene.
Yes.
To show how bad the dip is.
Yes.
That poor defenseless shoe did nothing wrong, and he killed it. That's how you knew he was the villain.
Oh, yeah.
The minute he showed up, it's like, okay, yeah, he's
your villain.
He's the villain. He's the guy. Somehow he's the one who killed Marvin Acme.
Yeah.
He's the one. He's obviously behind Cloverleaf Industries.
Yes.
Because it's obvious they're the bad guys to some degree.
Yeah.
The entire and he's the villain. There's no hiding that. As a detective story, it's actually kind of poor.
Yeah.
But as a noir, as this classic, you've got the alcoholic detective who the only reason that I don't think he does smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does smoke in this. I forgot about that. But
was
the alcoholic smoking detective, the only thing missing is the fact that his scene in his office, or even in Marvin Acme's office, it's not dark with the moon providing the only illumination.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's really missing from the noir aesthetic.
Yes.
It's such a good noir, a little bit cheesy, mind you.
Right.
But it's a classic. The cheesiness of the noir they're showing fits superbly with the rest of the zaniness and craziness that we see with the rest of the animation stuff. It is just so nice to see. They could have easily just focused on the cartoon aspects of it and just had it be zany, kooky, crazy all the time and have virtually no story.
Yeah.
But there's a story. It's a good story. Is it a story you can see coming from a mile away? Sure. But just because you can see the ending coming doesn't make the journey any less bad, any worse.
Very true.
This is an amazing movie, despite the fact you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that the characters at no point do that wink at the screen, oh, look how stupid this kind of stuff is. Like it's very easy to do, is so amazing that they're committed to making this movie and making it good. And that's what I love about this. It's just a good movie, even when you take out the gimmick.
Yes, agreed.
What's your number 3?
My number 3, there again, kind of tying in with your number 3, is actually the actors' performances. Mm-hmm. Primarily, Bob Hoskins, and Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
And, oh my word. The fact that
Christopher Lloyd was having a fun time.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Once the goggles got knocked off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, his facial expressions are timeless. The scene, in the commentary, going back to the commentary, there's where whenever you see Judge Doom, be like, he doesn't blink.
He never blinks.
Be like, he has like a half eye shut, but he never blinks.
Anytime the sunglasses are off, he never blinks.
And it's just the performance of how these two actors are able to interact with nothing. Definitely Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins.
Just say Eddie.
Eddie. Okay. Eddie Valent.
That's why I kept saying Eddie.
Yeah. Anytime Eddie interacts with a tune in real life, there's nothing there.
Except maybe a puppet. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a puppet. Or maybe like something to hold on to or look at. Mm-hmm. That's it. And if you go back and watch like Mary Poppins are one of those movies that had animation kind of thrown in there. Like, it was great animation. Eye lines were wrong. Eye lines were slightly off or something like that. This was spot on. It's like literally, it looks like he's literally looking at a tune and expressing and interacting and moving with a tune. And how fluidly animated Roger Rabbit is.
Yeah.
And how Eddie is able to... The actor is able to like seamlessly like he's wrestling with a real tune. Mm-hmm. And it's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's what blows my mind. Blows my mind that you have this much commitment where the actor would literally just read his lines, be like, okay, here, and just pantomime to what's going on in the scene with nothing there, with no aid. Except be like, oh, here, act. And he did it. And it was phenomenal. It's like you said earlier on the show that be like, there's a possibility they may be doing a Roger Rabbit 2. I highly doubt it.
I just know it on IMDb. It was listed in pre-production as those guys as the writers.
Yes.
I have no idea how they would do it. Because there's no way Warner Brothers is going to be nice and let them have those characters back.
No.
So even if it happens, it won't be a special.
Yeah, agreed. But man, that'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It'd be so incredible with how animation is now.
Yeah,
it would be there again so much easier. But at the same time, be like, wouldn't it be really cool if we got all those characters back?
Oh, it would be nice.
It'd be like, it's like how much time and what kind of deals did you have to do to get this done? Because this one, it took the power of Steven Spielberg to even get it done.
Yeah.
And there again, going back to the point of how these actors portray their characters so realistically, and like you believe their problems. You believe that Christopher Lloyd's character is this mad judge who is going to destroy Toontown, and realistically he's a toon himself, and he plays that off so well, and they give you so many clues to his real identity of like how he backs away from the dip and how he kind of
the fact that he wears a glove to deal with the dip.
Yes, exactly. And there's so many little clues to be like who he really is. And what was it? Even one of the producers or director even said, be like, oh, we were going to throw in this idea that Judge Doom killed Bambi's mother.
Yeah. He's the hunter that killed Bambi's mother. He's like, that might be a little too dark.
Yeah, just a bit. I think that's the reason why they didn't throw it in there. It's like, that's just wrong. But anyway, these two actors, granted, all the actors in the movie are phenomenal. And the amount of dedication and professionalism they put into their performances are just spot on.
Yes.
And yeah, just performance-wise, incredible. What's your number 3?
I already did my number 3.
Ah, you did.
We're moving into our dislikes now.
Yes.
And believe it or not, I have a dislike.
Really?
Now, all my dislikes are nitpicks. They are so minor, I wouldn't bring them up if I didn't have to.
Right.
There is one pretty bad animation error.
Okay.
And I say it's bad only because I'm surprised it got past.
Yeah.
I will admit that every other time I've watched the movie, I didn't see this.
Okay.
But the Lena hyena running into the wall scene.
Yeah.
When he picks that up and moves it towards the wall.
Yeah.
Before she runs into it, the camera moves, but the line doesn't.
Oh, that's right.
I never noticed it before because, like I said, it's that minor a thing. But it's like the minute I saw that, I go, oh no, I'm never going to be able to unsee this now that I've seen it. Mm-hmm. And that's disappointing. I mean, admittedly, it is seeing the tarnish on the perfectly polished belt.
Yeah.
And it's understandable that you're not going to catch everything.
Right.
But it's disappointing to see it. Mm. Anyway, that's my first dislike. What's your first?
You stole my number 1.
I was sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's like when two minds think alike.
Yeah. Because we're both looking for stuff.
Yes, we are. And yeah, mine was the exact same way with the anime. There were very slight animation problems. Very, very slight. But there again, they're going in uncharted waters with this film.
Well, so not completely uncharted because you got, like you said earlier, Mary Poppins.
Right.
You've got Pete's Dragon.
That's true.
But the thing was, since they intentionally broke every rule up until that point of what to do with a cartoon character interacting with a live person.
That is true.
To make the movie more believable, it's eventual they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I still think this is the one that never should have been a problem. Mine was anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's literally animation on top of animation.
Yeah.
Because on the Blu-ray, there's a featurette showing the before and after. And it's the entire Toontown sequence from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Including that scene. He's not physically picking up anything when he picks the line up to move it into the wall.
Yeah.
There's no reason the camera should move.
Yeah.
But it does, and the animation does not.
Yeah. I guess you could call it more, there's more...
It's just something that was overlooked.
Yeah, just something that was overlooked. And I remember there's one scene where Eddie is talking about his past and, the fact that his brother got killed by a tune. When it's zooming in on him, be like Roger's, looking. But the last few seconds, his face is literally just pulled out of frame.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, they actually did that. It wasn't it literally like the camera moved and his face just literally went, pulled out of frame.
At least that's better than it just disappearing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And, there again, have animation problems every once in a while. But what can you do?
Yeah.
Every movie's got them. So what is your number 2?
My second dislike, I just don't like how they handled this one scene.
Okay.
In Toontown, he's walking down the alleyway about to come up on Jessica.
Yeah.
You can tell he's physically walking down. And they did not animate this scene.
Okay.
It is literally someone drew the set.
Yeah.
On honest to goodness sets.
Oh, yeah.
To make it look like it's animated.
Yeah.
But the fact that none of it is stands out.
Yeah.
I understand at some point that maybe they just realized they needed a couple seconds. They didn't have time to animate this.
Yeah.
So they may have just drawn, they may have made these sets real quick just to make this one scene. And I'm looking at it going, oh, you guys were so close. We're so close.
Right.
But I can tell this looks like a set on a theater stage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
And that's disappointing. But yeah, that's my number 2. What's yours?
My number 2 would be the scene in which Eddie, Roger, and being in the cab are going down the alleyway away, trying to get away from the police. Mm-hmm. That scene takes forever. And this is a short alleyway.
It's a chase scene.
It's a chase scene, but it's continually the scene is literally they keep reusing that.
How do you know it's not just a really long alley?
Because you can see the end of it. Because even the director said, yeah, originally we were going to do this and this and this and this, but this was a really long, short alleyway. It's kind of a nitpick. It's a nitpick. It's like, couldn't you have done something else instead of kind of like reusing the shot over and over and over again? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of a very nitpick.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
That chase sequence. I just want to say this because I didn't mention this in any of my other stuff. There's a line that occurs in that chase sequence I just absolutely find hilarious.
What is that?
After they've pulled the lever and they're on stilts.
Yes.
And Benny says back to Roger, "Hey Roger, what did he call the middle part of a song?" Because I don't know, a bridge. It's like because they're about to run into a bridge, and I thought, how many people are going to get that joke? Because that's a musical joke.
Yes.
Most people don't know musical terms, and bridge is one of the least well-known musical terms.
True.
But anyway, I thought that was funny.
That is funny. That is very funny.
Anyway.
What is your number 3?
My third dislike. My third dislike is that... It's such a very good question. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
This movie gets so close, but there's a lot of little animation nitpicky things.
Oh, yeah.
We've not mentioned.
Right.
And... when a movie is this close to being good, the problems seem to stand out worse. I'm not sure if if this movie is perfect or if it's just as close as it's going to get. And to me, it's a masterpiece.
Right.
But the fact that there are things that that aren't hidden very well. Like I said, that scene with where the camera moves.
Right.
The obviously theatrical set used for the alleyway.
Right.
The things you've mentioned.
Yeah.
Admittedly, at some point you've got to cut your losses and move on because you can't tweak it to perfection, but I wish the movie was better.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's a masterpiece.
Yes.
I want it to be better.
Agreed.
Because I just do. It's one of those things where it's like, I look at this and go, I wish I didn't see this problem. It could be so much better. But it's still a great movie.
Agreed.
It's one of my favorites. And yet I look at it and go, can you just move that a little bit? Can you just fix this one bit? As the fact that there were things in the movie that's what it comes down to. The fact there's things in the movie I don't like. I don't like.
You don't like
that I don't like parts of this movie because the movie is that good.
Yes.
It's not perfect, not by any means. I've seen better made movies.
Right.
But this movie is almost like Wreck-It Ralph for me. It's a movie with tons of references that very few people besides me are going to get.
Right.
Just because this is where my interests lie. And the fact that it's not quite, and honestly, I don't think it's quite as good as Wreck-It Ralph in terms of tightness of script, story, action, all these kind of things. But most of this I gloss over because of how well the movie does what it does.
Right.
And admittedly, I know they couldn't go back because of the way they had to make the movie. They couldn't go back and clean it up.
Right.
Once it was sent to the animators, there's nothing more they could do with that scene.
Yeah.
It was as done as it was going to get until after the animators got done with it, and they couldn't they couldn't cut anything, otherwise they'd lose all that hard work and animation.
Yeah.
Hand-drawn animation that they had done up to that point.
Oh, yeah.
I recognize all of this. I'm still like, I want stuff that was different.
Yeah.
Slightly. Not even big stuff. It's like, tighten that up, clean that off, make it look a little bit better than it is. And I feel bad that I'm wanting what is a great movie to complain about. I hate wanting to complain about things in this movie.
Right.
And I know there's nothing that could be done.
Right.
But even now at this point, because when you look at what we do have, holy crap.
Agreed.
What they were able to do with the technology they had is amazing.
Agreed. Completely agree.
And I feel guilty. It's like, I want it better.
Yeah.
I want it better. There's just so many of these little things. It's like, if you just tighten this up, if you just polish this up. And don't get me wrong, I do not want a remaster, a remake. I don't want a Star Wars style remaster of this movie. I don't want that at all. I don't want someone going in there and trying to clean up every little thing at this point.
Yeah, leave it with flaws and all.
Leave it with the flaws, because the flaws actually make the good parts, I think, stand out better.
Yeah.
It's just a part of me wants it to be better.
Yes.
And it bugs me that it's never going to be better than it actually already is. And it bugs me that this is the only time we're ever going to get something, even if there is a sequel.
Yeah.
This is the only time we're getting something that this movie is able to do.
Agreed.
Because at this point in time, the legalism is too much that we'll never get another decent crossover to this quality, to this amount.
Agreed.
Ever again.
You agreed.
And that's my number 3 dislike.
Okay. My number 3 is actually a little more controversial. Okay.
What do you have against Jessica Rabbit? No, I'm kidding.
It actually involves Jessica Rabbit. Okay, so to set up for you, okay, Eddie, they're escaping Toontown, and Judge Doom knocks over the vat. Eddie be like, not Eddie, the Benny the Cab goes through it, spins around, hits the pole, characters go flying, and they all do this 360 move and land.
Yeah, like a cartoon.
Yes.
Despite the fact that
the
fact that Eddie shouldn't be doing that because he's no longer under cartoon physics since he's no longer in Toontown.
Agreed. But in the Blu-ray version, it's edited.
But it's edited for a good, I'm not going to say good reason.
Yes.
It's edited for an understandable reason. Because in the original version,
yes,
it first didn't look like she was wearing underwear.
Yeah, she wasn't wearing apparel.
They gave her underwear. And then they decided to heck with it. We're just going to cut the sequence entirely.
And they cut it.
That way, no one will complain.
Yes.
Anymore. Yeah. They already have.
Exactly. So yeah, that was basically my number 3.
It's an annoying thing that scene's cut. Because I don't even think that's what the intention of that scene was, to show her not having any underwear on.
No, it'd be like you could go with
It's annoying they went for a panty shot in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
But
well, technically, we get a panty shot earlier in the film with what is it, Baby Herman?
Those aren't panties; those are diapers.
No, but he looks up.
Anyways,
I
don't think we see anything.
No, we don't see.
He sees plenty.
He sees plenty. We don't. But I thought I would bring that up.
It's what we see that matters, not what they see.
Yes, because I remember as a kid watching there again on VHS, and it's like it just spins so fast, and be like, I remember so many kids of my age were just be like, what we call slow-mo death cam, because you could slow the footage down. It's just frame by frame by frame by frame, and it's like, oh my gosh, you could see that.
Yeah.
And so when they came on Blu-ray, they just cut it. So
as annoying as that is, can I just say how amazing the Blu-ray restoration is?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because the other times I've seen this movie, because this was the first time I'd seen the HD restoration.
Yes.
The animation on top of the live action just did not match at all. This version is like, this is amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
This is what it looked like in theaters. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's my very small nitpick. Be like, I'm not saying we should leave it in.
You're not saying the panty shots should still be there.
No,
you're just saying you hate that they cut the scene entirely.
I just hate that they cut the scene. Like, yeah, if they had to draw Jessica Rabbit panties, okay, they had to. Yes,
they did for the TV broadcast.
That's right, they did. That's right. Be like, if you would have just left that in there, it'd been fine. But they had to go and edit it because there again, be like to make everybody happy.
Well, to some degree, it is the differences between how do you fix this.
Yeah, it's lewd.
The early 90s versus when was this restoration done? The early 2010s?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Different mindsets on how to handle it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
At that time, it's just, go ahead and mess with the animation. Who cares? But now it's like, no, you don't mess with the animation. You cut it out before you edit it.
Yeah,
before you change anything.
Agreed.
And to some degree, I do prefer cut it out before you edit it, because at least then the censorship is not, there's not censorship in there.
Yeah.
In the terms of, we mess with the animation.
Right.
It's just, here's the scene.
Yeah.
We left. Here's what happens. We go ahead and leave it out, and the audio, thankfully, doesn't cause an issue with the cut.
Yeah.
So it's not even noticeable until you go and start reading the trivia if you've never seen the movie before.
Yeah.
You go, oh, okay, cool. It's still better than in Little Mermaid, where you can tell where they cut the tower out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's just the cover.
You can tell where it's supposed to be.
Yes, I agree.
And something is missing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
all I'm saying with that one.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of different shots in some Disney films. There's like, why is that there?
Yeah, but anyway,
the rescuers. Anyway,
let's move into our ratings.
Yes. We've already gone down a really weird rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we forgot to mention earlier if this was family friendly or not. I think it actually is, despite the smoking and the alcohol use.
Yes.
Maybe for a little bit slightly older kids.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's still a great little family movie. I don't even think there's really any cussing in it other than like the most mild cuss words.
Yeah. And those would have been kind of, because back in the 80s, because you couldn't have a character, curse.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, these characters did curse a little bit.
But it was never anything worse than, I think,
what we hear now.
Stuff.
What we hear now.
Yeah. Walking around.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's family friendly. It's got it's there's a lot of dark humor in here, and
a lot of dark humor.
And yeah, definitely maybe for older kids, because I remember as a little kid watching it. I was 3 years old when I first watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely family friendly, and yeah, I'll definitely recommend it for families.
Yeah. What would you rate this movie?
It's getting a solid 9. Solid 9. Solid 9.
Okay.
Just there again, it's a animation live action masterpiece that will there again, like we said earlier, again and again and again, probably will never be replicated again. But just the sheer amount of work and effort and talent they put in this film, animation wise, artistic wise, actor wise in this film is phenomenal. And direction, script, and the fact that you had all these amazing voice actors come in and play their original characters.
Yes.
Some of them for the last time.
Some of them their last acting credit period.
Yes. And that's just phenomenal. That's phenomenal that the creative vision that Zemeckis had in this film.
Yeah.
To bring it together took them 2.5, 3 years to make this film. And it is pure gold. Yes, it has flaws. You're going to have flaws in films. Definitely you're talking about hand-celled animation. Mm-hmm. Even 3D animation. We can go to Frozen for that one. For, that all animation has flaws.
Right.
But we kind of look over those flaws just to see the pure genius behind it. Mm-hmm. And I love this film. I've loved it since I was 3 years old. And they're like, yeah, it's a number 9 for me. What's for you?
I'm giving it a 9.5.
Oh, okay.
As much as I nitpicked the movie, this is as close to a masterpiece as we're going to get.
Oh, I agree.
For this sort of thing.
Yes.
I almost want to give it a 10. And literally, the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because it's, like I said, I want better. I hate to say that, but I want better.
I understand.
It's almost a 10. In fact, it's like literally a hair's breadth.
Oh, okay. A rabbit hair?
Yeah, maybe. It's literally a hair's breadth away from being a 10. It's a great movie. It's got great jokes. It's got great animation, great acting on the live action side. It's a nearly perfect live action animation crossover movie.
Agreed.
And probably be the best we get for a long time. Not because I don't think they can do this sort of thing nowadays, but because apparently the writers who do these movies nowadays don't know how to write a movie for both kids and adults. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great family friendly movie.
Right.
It tells a good story. It's a 9.5 simply because as much as I want to give it a 10, I can't quite get it there.
All right.
So that brings us to the end of our I had this figured up. Hang on just a second. I got to bring it up. Okay, that brings us to the end of our first year of movies.
Yes.
Here on the Cellcast. And brings us to where we need to select the next movie. However,
yes,
we're not reviewing a movie next week.
No.
Next week, we're going to be talking about the animated movies coming out this year in 2020.
Yes.
So next week is when we're going to actually do our first roll of the new year.
Yes.
At the end of that. But I wanted to go ahead and let people know where we currently stand, since we have not even touched this list since the end of September.
Yes.
So, Who Framed Roger Rabbit makes our 23rd non-theme month review.
Okay.
For those who are curious. Back at number 20, if you remember, we rolled to shuffle up where we sat on the dice.
Yes.
And currently, I sit at 1, you are at 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And I'm on 5 and 6.
Got it.
Our last, of the movies we had in that last group, one of them had been on the dice for 6 weeks.
Yes.
And so grew into another spot after we finished with Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yes.
And that movie was Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, which is currently sitting at both spot 1 and 4. It was originally at spot 4.
Yes.
Kung Fu Panda, which was one of yours, is sitting at 2. It has had 3 episodes on the dice. Oliver and Company, another one of yours, has also had 3 episodes on the dice. The Good Dinosaur, one of mine, only had 1 episode on the dice. And Wacko's Wish has had 2 weeks on the dice. And that is currently where we sit. So the next time we roll, which I'll go over this again next week.
Right.
The order is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm at 1, Kung Fu Panda at 2, Oliver and Company at 3, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm again at 4, Good Dinosaur at 5, and Wacko's Wish at 6.
All right.
So, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the episode.
I think so.
If you've been listening a while, you'll note that we've moved the outro past this point. So you'll get our contact information in just a couple minutes. But, yeah, we just decided to change things up for this next year, make it a little bit easier on the editing side of things.
Yeah.
And keep me from actually tripping over saying the same sentence every week.
Yes. Just streamline a little bit.
Just streamlining the process a little bit. So look forward to hearing that. I guess at this point, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we will catch you in the next frame. That's
all, folks.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
They can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron and Jacob's Daily Art Corner, my personal art Facebook page. On Twitter at Jacob B. Heron. On Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. And on Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. Where can they find you, Drew?
You can find me on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. You can also find my Facebook page at Drew's Photo Bin, where I upload my photography. You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759 and Twitter at GGeorge759. Where can they find us, Jacob?
You can also visit our website, thecellcast.podbean.com, where you will find every episode we released and links to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. Our RSS feed, if we aren't in your favorite podcast app directory, please share, review, and subscribe to us there and share us with your friends.
You will also find a link to our Facebook group, the Double Feature Podcast Community, where we talk about both animated and live-action movies. We share this with our other podcasts, which we do with Jacob's brother Jim, at the Movie of the Week podcast, where we talk about live-action movies. You can also email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. Also,
Please like our page on Facebook. We try to post about upcoming movies. If you comment on that movie's post before we record, we'll read your comments in the episode. And remember, every time we say the Cellcast, that is with a single L.
Next time on
The Cellcast. Join our heroes as they talk about the upcoming movies of 2020, such as Bob's Burgers the Movie, The Croods 2, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Minions The Rise of Gru, Onward, Phineas and Ferb the Movie, Candace Against the Universe, Raya and the Last Dragon, Scoob, Soul, The SpongeBob Movie, Sponge on the Run, Tom and Jerry, and Trolls World Tour. Man, I can't believe some of these things are getting made.